Good evening and welcome to the May 9th edition of WJTS News. I'm Bryan Kelly. American and Japanese dignitaries gathered in Gibson County Wednesday to officially break ground for Toyota Motor Corporation's 4th North American assembly plant.
1, 2, 3, let's break ground.
The plant will produce T100 pickup trucks and will employ about 1,300 people. The $700 million facility will be built on 1,100 acres of land about 2 miles south of Princeton. Toyota President Hiroshi Okuda assisted 14 Gibson County 5th graders in planting several trees at the site. The trees symbolize the roots the company is putting down in southwest Indiana. Okuda also introduced Saizo Okamoto as the newly appointed president of Toyota Motor Manufacturing Indiana.
As president of TMMI, I will make every effort to make the company a truly good corporate citizen of Gibson County and Indiana. This means more than being charitable. It also includes providing stable employment, operating the plant in harmony with the environment, and listening to and respecting the issues that are important to the community. While doing this, we must also accomplish our mission to build the highest quality truck at the lowest possible cost. This will make TMMI profitable, which will bring even more benefit to the community.
In addition to the groundbreaking ceremony, Toyota presented the Gibson County Community Foundation with a gift. The company gave the foundation $500,000 to fund charitable activities throughout the county.
The Toyota company we had received information in advance that they were generous in any place that they located, and so naturally I guess we felt that maybe some of that would come by our way sometime or another, but we never ever expected it to happen this quickly, and we are deeply, sincerely grateful to you for this fine gift.
The factory is expected to be operational by the fall of 1998, with hiring scheduled to begin late next year. Portions of central and southern Indiana received as much as 4 inches of rain Wednesday. Fortunately, only small portions of the White and Wabash rivers received 4 inches, while most areas received about 1.5 to 2 inches. The East Fork of the White River near Shoals was at nearly 27 feet and rising this morning. A crest of 28 feet is expected sometime tomorrow. The National Weather Service says extensive flooding will continue along the East Fork of the White River through the weekend and possibly all next week. Additional rain is expected today and tomorrow in southwest Indiana and could cause the White and Wabash rivers to remain above flood stage for almost the entire month of May. The National Weather Service says area river residents affected by current floodwaters should prepare for a lawn flood. I'll be back with more news right after this. A federal report offers a mixed bag in terms of the impact that airline deregulation has had in Evansville. The report from the Government Accounting Office shows that airfares have increased for Evansville travelers, and the number of direct flights has also risen. Since deregulation, most airports have seen their fares decrease. The report also mentions that jet service in Evansville has by large been replaced by propeller planes, which depart more often to more places, but with fewer seats. Jonathan Weinzaffel's victory in the 8th District Democratic primary sets up one of the youngest congressional contests in the nation. Democratic Congressional Campaign Committeeman Jim Whitney says the 30-year-old Weinzaffel is one of the youngest nominated challengers. Weinzaffel will face Republican incumbent John Hostetler in the November elections. Hostetler is 35 and is already among the youngest members of the 435-member House. The combined age of Weinzaffel and Hostetler is less than 9th District Congressman Lee Hamilton, who is 65. Plans for the annual Jasper Strassenfest are in high gear. The German Street Festival will be held from August 1st to the 4th. This year's Strassenfest will include food and game booths, a hot air balloon race, a parade, a skydiving exposition, and all new fireworks. For more information on the Strassenfest, you can contact the Jasper Chamber of Commerce at 482-6866. The Tourism Commissions of Du Bois and Spencer Counties hosted the annual Indiana's Land of Adventure Annual Tourism Luncheon at Sultan's Run Golf Course yesterday. Our Tony Frick was there and filed this report.
Hospitality was the award-winning word and key to opening Indiana's Land of Adventure at the annual tourism luncheon. Even keynote speaker John Dillon, executive director of the Hoosier Lottery, paid tribute to local southern Indiana hospitality.
I appreciate our friendship. Well, I don't think so. What is it like to win the lottery?
He kept managers, department heads, and frontline personnel attention, making them instant winners and tossing out T-shirts if they were willing to ask a question. The big question was how much money and where was it really going?
We had game expense payments of $418 million. Our salaries, administration, $10 million. We gave to the state last year $183 million in profit, or about 30% return. We are on track, knock on wood, if it would stop raining, to do better this year in fiscal 1996, probably in the area of $620 million, a little bit more profit. We have taken those funds with the legislature's direction, and now they will all be going into the reduction of your license plate. It will reduce that cost. So we think you will start to see the impact positively of what the lottery is all about.
The real winners for Du Bois County and Spencer County were actually those frontline and behind-the-scenes local people who are living examples of Hoosier hospitality. Time was taken to recognize outgoing Tourism Commission members.
And take an award back for Sister Jane Michelle McClure, who is a retiring commissioner on the Tourism Commission.
Robert Steffi was also recognized, as was Spencer County's Joy McCarthy.
She was instrumental in getting our Tourism Commission started, in getting the innkeeper's tax underway, and really in helping to promote tourism and also to bring us all together within the county to work together. Which I think is
Awards were also given to those who keep people coming back to Indiana because of their Hoosier hospitality.
About our first ever hospitality award to an individual in Du Bois County, Mr. Ed Schaff, and then to a couple down in Spencer County.
Accepting the award for Jerry and Cinda Rich of Santa Claus were their children.
To do with that award is to let the local people know how important the workers are in Du Bois and Spencer counties when visitors come into the area, because I would say that anybody that comes to our area, the first thing that they comment on is how hospitable and friendly and courteous the people that they meet are. And that is what's going to get people to return again and again if they have a good, exciting and pleasurable time.
Tony Frick, TV 27 News.
I'll be back with more news right after this. Okay. Turning to state news now. Severe thunderstorms packing high winds and possibly a tornado have made a mess of Seymour. Mayor John Burkhart says the storm completely destroyed 2 homes and left another 10 or so severely damaged. It also knocked down 30-foot lights at the high school stadium and tore the press box off the top of the stands. Burkhart says he's impressed at the way the residents were reacting to the situation. There were also reports of a tornado touching down in the Clay County town of Carbon. State officials say 1 home and 2 mobile homes were destroyed and a couple more incurred major damage. In other weather-related news, Indiana's farmers are frustrated. Soggy fields and heavy rains are keeping them from planting their crops. Only 8% of the corn crop has been planted statewide, compared to 24% normally by this time. So far, just 2% of the soybean crop has been planted. Normally, 8% of soybeans have been planted by now. Although the wet weather has delayed planting, DuBois County Extension Coordinator Jim Peter says the situation hasn't reached critical proportions yet. The rain is also slowing business at garden shops. Bruce Gatewood of Gatewood Farm Market in Noblesville says there hasn't been enough sunshine for people to get out and plant flowers, and they're not in the mood to buy them either. The National Weather Service says this April was the 7th wettest since 1871. Former Republican gubernatorial candidate Rex Early says Marion County Party Chairman John Sweezy is partly to blame for his loss in the primary. Early says Sweezy failed to, quote, show some guts and support his candidacy. The falling out with Early stems from Sweezy's decision to keep the county party neutral in the governor's primary. Sweezy didn't allow the slating process by which it endorsed primary candidates for Congress and county offices. But Sweezy says he did so because he didn't want the party to choose between two Marion County residents, Early and the eventual winner, Indianapolis Mayor Stephen Goldsmith. There is one thing Indianapolis Mayor Stephen Goldsmith and Lieutenant Governor Frank O'Bannon agree on going into their race for governor. There should be plenty of debates. The two men have agreed to hold a debate in each of Indiana's 10 congressional districts. Goldsmith says there will be very clear differences in the campaign, and the more opportunity to air those differences, the better. Goldsmith beat Rex Early Tuesday for the Republican gubernatorial nomination. Yesterday, O'Bannon challenged Goldsmith to run a clean campaign and limit spending in the general election race. Goldsmith agreed with some of the principles, but objected to a proposal that each side limit spending to $5.8 million. Indiana Air National Guard officials have identified a Kentucky man as the fighter pilot responsible for firing stray rounds over Wells County. But an official explanation of what he did is still weeks away. The U.S. Air Force Air Combat Command is investigating the February 29th shooting. It identified the pilot as Major Charles K. Buckley. The Kentucky man's hometown was not released. Air Force officials had said they would not release the pilot's identity unless their investigation concluded that serious punishment was warranted. But a spokesman said media interest influenced the military to release his name. Authorities believe as many as 100 rounds of inert practice ammunition were fired from an F-16 flight training mission over the Jefferson Proving Grounds near Madison. 2 homes in Murray were hit. No one was injured. Some state universities and their students are currently in a state of flux due to a federal backlog that's preventing students from finding out how much financial aid they will receive. This, in turn, affects universities by not knowing exact enrollment figures, which hinders their funding. Some colleges, including Indiana University, are delaying their May 1st admissions deadline until the financial aid processing problem is corrected. After this break, Kurt Gutgsell will return with a look at sports. Stay with us.
Welcome back and good evening, everyone. After a rare night off, the Jasper Wildcats return to the high school baseball diamond tonight. Cats have traveled to Vincennes, Lincoln to meet the Owlses at always beautiful Hill Field. You can see the ball game tomorrow night at 10 right here after Cincinnati Reds baseball against the San Diego Padres right here on WJTS, Channel 27. Also in high school news, the pairings were announced for the first ever Jasper girls softball sectional. Jasper will play Bar Eve in the first game. Marion Heights will play Washington. Meanwhile, Lagodi and Southridge will hook up in the bye bracket. Meanwhile, for the second time this spring, the University of Evansville basketball program has dipped into Missouri for some high school talent. The Aces have an early commitment from 6'8" junior Brian Bidges of Blair Oaks High School. School in Jefferson City, Missouri. Bidges averaged 18 points and 12 rebounds as a junior. He also blocked 71 shots and hit 54% of his field goal attempts. Last week, the Purple Aces signed 6'1" guard Ryan Roberson out of Westphalia, Missouri. In addition to Roberson, the Aces' other recruits for next season are John Reisinger out of Evansville Harrison and Kwame James from Indianapolis, Lawrence North. Indiana Purdue at Fort Wayne has a new men's basketball coach today. John Williams will take over the post on July 1st. He was replacing Andy Piazza, who resigned last month. Williams had coached at St. Francis College in Fort Wayne for the past 4 years, compiling a 59-62 record at the NAIA school. Williams will become IPFW's 7th head coach. 36-year-old has also coached at Ball State, Wisconsin, and Earlham College. He has said it once, he will say it again. Larry Brown is not leaving the Indiana Pacers. More rumors have surfaced since the Dallas Mavericks reportedly named Brown their #1 choice for the head coaching vacancy. Pacer president Donnie Walsh says the Mavericks haven't sought permission to talk to Brown about the opening. Even if they had, Brown said he wouldn't consider leaving Indiana. Roberto Guerrero expects his 4-year-old Indianapolis 500 qualifying records to be history by the end of the week. The two-time Indy runner-up anticipates that one of the 4 Team Menard entries will be doing the record-breaking, and he is hopeful of a second-row start in the May 25th race. Guerrero set the current track record of 232.618 miles per hour for a single lap and 232.482 for a 4-lap 10-mile qualifying run way back in 1992. Even with the limited practice so far this month at the Brickyard because of the rain, top speeds have been well above those numbers, so it's likely the records will fall on Saturday in pole qualifying. 6 years ago, Fort Wayne had just one post-college athletic team, and now in that sport was in grave danger of leaving, that being the Fort Wayne Comet hockey team. But the Comet stayed, and the Fury basketball team, along with the baseball Wizards, came on board. Now to complete a lineup of the Big Four team sports, semi-pro River City Rhinos will begin play this summer in the Mid-Continental Football League. The Rhinos introduced themselves yesterday to the Fort Wayne media. They unveiled their team logo and announced their schedule and other information at that news conference yesterday afternoon. And finally, the Jasper High School basketball staff has announced that the summer basketball camp information is now out. Incoming camp for incoming 6th through 9th graders will be held June 3rd through the 14th. Camp for incoming 4th through the 5th graders will be held June 17th through the 21st. Applications are available at all Jasper schools. Stay tuned. Brian will have more news and weather after this.
Welcome back. Will the warm, dry weather continue, or will rain return to southwestern Indiana? Let's check out the WJTS forecast to find out. For tonight, 30% chance of thunderstorms with a low of 68, and for tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a 50% chance of thunderstorms and a high near 83. And finally, lead-footed Texans will do almost anything to beat police radar. Some try putting containers of calves' livers on the front seat. Perhaps they think the radar's microwaves will cook the meat. Other speeders try aluminum foil on the wheels and laser shields on their license plates. But radar expert Carl Forrest has some bad news. Those countermeasures won't keep you from getting a ticket. Forrest is a consultant to the radar detector industry and has made a study of speeding on I-30 in Fort Worth. The newest weapon in the police arsenal is the laser gun that uses a laser light beam to measure speed. Forrest says, forget about buying a laser detector. He says a laser is so focused, a detector won't give advance warning of a speed trap. According to Forbes, the only thing you'll learn from a laser detector is when you're about to get a ticket. That's a look at our news tonight. Thanks for joining us. For Kurt Gutgsell, I'm Bryan Kelly. Good night, everyone.